I can't see Chakara. Can't even hear.
Patience, young ones.
Oh, she's there.
Present.
Oh, it's the her for me.
Ooh, pretty.
We love to see it.
I did not come to play with you, hers. I came to slay, bitch.
Hey guys!
Hello. Welcome back.
What's going on?
What is up? You're with us again.
Again.
I mean, at this point, we're family.
Loyal.
In it, basically.
This is like, what is this? Wednesday morning brunch or something?
Right? You know, eating your
Every
breakfast with us.
Brunch
I love
and
that you
chat.
guys love us.
And we love
Me
you right
too.
back.
It's
We love you right
true.
back. It's a family over here, period.
Friends, family, and besties. Welcome back to the pod, guys. This is episode 6. We're just gonna roll on into what you lot's been saying. I don't have anything for this last episode. You lot have stuff?
This girl, she said, I've been listening to your podcast for a little while now and I've really enjoyed your discussions. Just wanted to let you know that I thoroughly enjoyed the most recent episode. I just love how you guys question the status quo and normality in society and how you discuss it amongst each other. Keep up the good work. Look forward to listening to more episodes.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, sis. We really appreciate that.
it. I love that. I love the good vibes and positive feedback.
This
Makes
is
my
it.
heart happy.
Thank you very much. We actually really do appreciate it. So in terms of the ghetto, we talked about Sharon Osbourne and her suing CBS after she was forced to quit. And someone said as she should be. I'm assuming in regards to her being forced to quit. So, and then we have one more on the whole sis with her helmet of salvation. And they say she looks like a damn fool. I hope she gets freed from the shackles of that man.
Bless
I
her.
hope she gets freed too.
I know.
I can only agree.
It's so sad.
Because she is going through it.
I think how many women are living that kind of life?
This is it. Thinking that just,
Thinking that that's what God wants for them.
like
That's not what He wants for you, sis.
not even a little bit.
Oh, well.
Pray for you all, sis.
I hope
Pray
she
for
gets, she grows stronger and just becomes a more fulfilled and happy woman.
As always, guys, send us comments, send us questions, anything. You know that we love to hear from you. By this point, follow us on the gram at Rules Are Pointless. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, WMTR Podcast. I'll have more episodes up hopefully this week. You can follow us on Twitter as well, also WMTR Podcast, and let us know what you think and give us some feedback so that we can share what you love saying on this segment.
Oh my gosh.
We be having domestics behind the scenes sometimes, guys.
So we finna get into We Love to See It. This is a segment where we talk about dope things that we love to see. Sometimes it might be big things, sometimes it might be small things, just things that we love to see. So who wishes to go first, or should I go first, or...
I guess I have to go first because the way Chakara is looking at me like, you made a big deal, so I'm gonna need you to go. So, no pressure. Good grief. Okay, so I am gonna talk about this dope Instagram / YouTube channel. It is called Guys. Guys, listen. It's lit. I'm obsessed. The production, everything. I don't know who's producing all this stuff, like the content, but it is top notch. Anyway, let me tell you about them because I am like a super fan. Guys is a COVID concept created in the summer of 2020 by dynamic duo Chakara and Dreezy. and you can follow them on Instagram at Goys Lane. And what it is two BFFs taking a journey to share the joy/pain that they face within the LGBTQ plus community in Bermuda, and it is a safe space for long overdue conversations. Goys dives into Bermuda's LGBTQ plus culture, and they embrace all aspects of the androgynous cocktails that they are. Listen, this is so overdue for Bermuda. Like, I just hope that so many people go over to Goys Lane, because that's what their handle is, Goys Lane, and just support these lot doing this. It is so dope. The content is top notch. Like, the production level is out of this world, and these stories and the journeys of all these people that, you know, we ordinarily probably wouldn't hear from Bermudians. It's just, yeah, I can't explain. I am obsessed with it. I watch it all the time. Like, I see them post, I'm like, oh, what is it today? Like, it's just great quality, and they have a first season that's up on their Instagram and YouTube channel, I believe, and then they have a season 2 that is coming and dropping, and I see some familiar faces. I'm really excited about that, just to hear those stories, and it's just transparent and genuine, and we love to see it. So shout out to you guys if you're listening. So dope. We love you here at WMTR.
Period.
Truly.
Perfect.
I was watching some of the videos when they first dropped, so I was like, yo, this is so lit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just
I've just recently seen because Taylor, he posted something on his story yesterday or the day before, because I guess he's a part of it, and I was like, what is this?
Season 2.
So shout out to y'all. That's so cute. I love to see that.
So dope.
That's so dope.
It is.
Is it me? Do you want me to go?
I mean,
whoever want to go next, I'm passing the baton.
Unless you're ready. I just want to highlight this girl, Jasmine. Her name is Jasmine Charles. She's a musician and just an all-around dope person. Musician, artist. Like, she plays violin, viola, she sings, she paints. She's just really cool. I heard about her through...
Right.
I heard about her through Aisha, because, you know, Aisha plays violin.
Yeah, shout out to Aisha. What is Aisha's handle?
Amelia Pure Heart on Instagram. Amelia Pure Heart _ I love her so much. Anyway, I used to, when I was still at home, I used to low-key stalk Aisha. Like, I used to go to the bookseller anytime I was in St. George's and just pop up on her. Mm-hmm. And I was telling her that I got a violin and I wanted to start lessons, and she told me about this group called Chargo, which is no longer together, sadly. But the girl, Jasmine, her name's Jasmine Charles, and I think she goes by, or used to go by, Charlie. So yeah, she was telling me about her. I think they're friends, so she was like, oh, check them out. So I became obsessed with Chargo, and now that they're not together, I still like follow Charlie, and she's just really, really cool. And she recently started doing like yoga.
Update. I am so happy I combined these practices, reaching new levels of consciousness and pushing my boundaries. I haven't been very flexible because I store a lot of energy and memories, and this forces me to let them go. Violin adds a layer of humility. I'm learning balance.
So basically, it's just a new practice that she's been doing. She's been doing yoga, and she's saying like that whole process of being like conscious and meditating and all of that has brought her closer to her instrument, which is really cool. And you should check out her music. She dropped an album last year or the year before. It's called Baby Jazz, and there's a piece on there that's called Baby Jazz, which is my favorite. She sings in some of these songs. Baby Jazz is just instrumental and it's really, really good. And yeah, she's just a really cool person. Like, she has synesthesia, which is what is that? It's basically, she hears color. So like when she hears music, she sees colors.
Oh my god!
And they're like,
that's so
the whole vibe, basically. Oh, she goes by Jasmine Fire now. If I didn't mention that, you can follow her on the gram at Jasmine Fire.
We'd love to see it.
Right? Well, these talents, me, I just saying.
Can you stop?
Can I
here she
do
goes.
more than...
Not today, please.
Flipping fashion icon, YouTuber, just
please. I'm
But,
yawning.
okay. That's talent? I don't know. Anyway, so
anyway, we move on.
For
because
me
we're
this
not doing
week,
this with you.
who I went to... who I would like to highlight is a Bermudian. Her name is Chelsea Warren, and she has this really amazing clothing brand called Optimum Body, and it's just so dope. It's a monochromatic. Her coin, like what her thing is she has a duotone monochromatic. Her fits, so it's a sweatsuit, t-shirt, whatever it is, but it's split in the middle, and it's two tones of the same color, and they're just so dope. And just seeing her blow up the way that she's been blowing up lately, and it's just like you're Bermudian, and you're about to be, you got like big influencers wearing your stuff, and you're just growing, and all these orders, and her story, and how she even because I had tuned in because I was waiting for my song to play on the radio, and she had done an interview just before my song was supposed to be played, so I was listening to it and just listening to her story and how she got from where she was to where she is now, and the trials and tribulations. You don't know about how much it takes to get to, you only see the end product in it, so to see and her how she got where she is, it's like Bermudians all doing big things, you know. And it's so cool to see. It's inspiring for me because I want to start a little t-shirt brand soon enough, and like to see her get where she is now, just like anybody can do anything. And shout out to you, Chelsea. Just shout out to you because you're doing their thing. Like,
I listened to that same interview because I was waiting for your song to drop, and like she is so resilient. Like hearing her story and hearing like all that she had to overcome, like you said, through that process is like, I don't know if I could have endured that.
Right.
So if you haven't got a chance, I would definitely try and find a clip of that interview. I think it was on Vibe 103. But yeah, I agree. And every time I ask somebody for business advice, a Bermudian, her name always comes up in the reference. Like, you should check out Chelsea because, I'm going to ask Chelsea or, it's just,
she knows what she's doing, clearly.
Yeah. And Cardi B, like, really I think Cardi B acknowleded her when she did Cardi
when
B.
She did the Halloween thing.
She's always, like, if she's going to bring it, she's going to bring it. Like,
she's very smart.
BA and MA and this child.
Yeah. She's
just
very
applaud
smart.
you, ma'am,
she's very resilient. I remember in college, she had 4.0 in college. She went to Oakwood as well, MBI. And somebody was asking her how she does it, and she was like, "Listen, my parents worked too hard to get me here for me to be out here failing. So she worked hard. She found ways to make money while she was in school. She found time to enjoy her life. Now here she is starting her business. Like, she's just all around greatness.
And we love
shout out to you, girl.
See it. Shout out to all the people that we've mentioned today. We just love to see dope people doing dope things. And if you have anybody that you would like us to feature, or anybody that you think is dope, please don't hesitate to send us a message. Share us the Instagram page, tweet us, DM us, whatever it is, so we can see some more dope people doing some dope things. Because we love to see it.
All right, you guys. Now we're getting into the ghetto.
The ghetto.
This is the segment of the podcast where we talk about the ghetto-ness that is social media and all the madness that is happening over there, good, bad, and indifferent. So yeah, who's going first today? What's in these ghetto streets?
About this, it was a snippet of an episode of Summer Shade, like a reality TV show, called Notorious Queens, right? And one of the girls, I don't know her name, couldn't get her name, but one of the girls was talking about there is such thing as cheating respectfully. And I was just like, bird. Like, how can you think that there is such thing as cheating as long as there's no as long as nothing. What are you, like... And you said this on TV. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just coming and thinking that you sound smart. Who are your friends? Why do you not love yourself? I don't understand what's going on with this. I said, wow. Cheating respectfully. Those two words cannot even... How are they next to each other in a sentence? I don't I don't understand. I just didn't get it. And there are some people that's like, yes, sis. As long as he comes home to me. Respect yourself, please.
Maybe they need to start practicing polygamy. I don't know.
Clearly.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I don't agree. That's all I know.
I'd listen.
The whole premise of cheating is disrespect.
Exactly.
So how can we now cheat respectfully?
I don't get it.
What is respectful cheating?
What is it?
Well, listen how.
Literally, in
the bar is in now. Facts.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh. Well, I saw this thing on Twitter, and you know I am anti-work, so this just really annoyed me, so I'm going to read it to you. So it says, stop. You might be committing time clock fraud. Time clock fraud occurs whenever an employee does something while punched in that is unrelated to work, while not on a 15-minute break. Here are some easy-to-do tips to avoid committing time clock fraud. 1. Use the restroom before you start work and before coming back from meals. 2. Make sure to take off your coat, jacket, or other outerwear pieces before punching in. Make sure to secure personal items in a locker before punching in. Arrive early to ensure that you have time to complete any shopping or other tasks before your scheduled start time. Once punched in, you are on the clock and should immediately grab your equipment and head to the sales floor. If 10 employees commit 10 minutes of time clock fraud a day, that's 100 minutes a day. That's 3,000 minutes a month, which equals to 50 hours of payroll lost. Please remember that time clock fraud can lead to disciplinary action and termination.
You can tell me I can't use the bathroom if I have to use the bathroom.
What I hear is, I'm going to be late. That's all I hear. Every day. And you're going to have to deal with it.
Could you imagine working for somebody like
if
this?
It was like this somewhere.
Like,
you that's remember.
I've worked in places, a place similar with some crap rules like that. But, yeah, it's a madness.
This is like retail life, really. Retail life services, bottom tier jobs.
Listen, I look back at some places where I'm worked. I'm like, I really allowed these people to treat me like that.
That was some stupidity.
To watch me walk around the store as if I'm going to steal as an employee. Like, watch me on the cameras, come out and make sure we're not talking too long. Like, it's just wild.
Honestly, this is bottom tier employment right here. Like, you have to deal with so much. You have to deal with so much from customers as it is. People who will see you like this and then put the money on the counter and expect you to pick it up.
That hit me in
my spirit. Don't even get me started.
So
don't even get me started.
Much the anger I feel. My hand is out. You said what?
And you just miss it. So I don't care.
It's just
cool.
Like,
let me put it back on the table. You're gonna look at me like I'm crazy.
I worked in a I won't even say the store. I worked in a tourist souvenir shop, if you will. And a lot of the American tourists would always come in. This is in Bermuda, for those that don't know. But they would always come and say, can you give me real money? Because I don't want that funny money. Listen here. You are not, like, your money is not superior. It all works the same, and it's real.
It's very real.
Like, that Bermuda coin is real.
Right,
it's
it'll
beautiful.
hurt you.
And yeah, I'm going to just pull back.
That happened to my friend. She used to work up at Snorkel, like on the little water slide thing, and some girl was like, she paid something, and my friend gave her change, and she was like, can I have real money because I'm leaving tomorrow? And she was like, last I checked, the BMD is very real. Like what is, like, just say that you want American money.
Period. Money ain't the only money that exists. You
in this whole world, you think just yours.
The only right is the only real money.
This is not the only currency that exists.
So if you're American and listening to this and you have committed this crime, please think about it. Think about it. I know we have some American listeners. We love you, but get it together.
Get it together.
Child. Anyway, I guess it's my turn. Mine are very short. I'm gonna start with the first funniest thing I saw today.
You laughing already?
First of all, I don't know how Boozy is still allowed on the internet, but that's a whole nother conversation for another time because he is just a whole mess and a half. But this man, Boozy, was walking through what I believe is the airport, and somebody came to him and said, "Oh, that's Flav Flav! It's Flav Flav!" And my boy was vexed. He was so angry.
I saw that because he's like
livid.
40 in it, and Flavor Flav is like.
But the real tea is, they look
They do look alike.
identical.
They do look alike. He looks
So
very much
Boozy-
like.
Like, I'm gonna need you to just embrace it, grab a clock or two, wrap it around your neck, and
Right?
maybe
And just,
like do appearances at
I was
Flav
literally gonna say that.
Get that extra coin
Appearances
because that's your twin, sir. I'm gonna need you to embrace
You
it.
say, Lil Boozy. You can do it.
Flavor. Oh my gosh, yes, it's a madness. But that had me in tears because he was complaining, and then on the shared room, I think the next slide was a picture of them next to each other,
Next to
and
him,
they looked
and
just alike. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
Boozy is
last thing is a bit more serious, but I just want to send prayers out to DMX, the legend that be. Man, DMX is my whole
legend, bro.
legend. I remember in middle school sitting on these steps, me and my friends busting DMX from our little phones that we weren't supposed to have. You know what I mean? Just yeah.
The OG.
DMX
People,
is a legend.
What?
His story is really sad because he had an overdose, so he is on life support, I believe, still right now. And the saddest part about it is that the reason that he is addicted to drugs is because he had a mentor that was in his 30s when he was 14 that laced his weed
His weed,
with
right?
crack.
Yeah.
Cocaine. And he's been addicted to just drugs in general. And it is so sad.
So sad.
So, listen, love to the legend that is DMX, sending all the prayers and good vibes your way. Pull through.
Pull through, sir.
Yeah.
He's young still, in it. Like,
it's 50.
you know, like,
So much life left to live. So, come on, DMX. Pull on through.
so,
And that's it, guys. That is the ghetto section, the ghetto of the podcast. If you have anything that you want us to talk about in this ghetto section, please, again, feel free to comment on social media or send us an email at WMTRpodcast@gmail.com. And yeah.
Hey guys, trigger warning. This episode of Who Makes the Rules covers topics involving sexual violence, pedophilia, and abortion. Alright, so welcome to Who Makes the Rules. This is the segment where we really get into it. We talk about the things that some people don't really want to talk about. But listen,
let's get into it.
It's gotta be like that sometimes. So, trigger warning. What I want to talk about is the fact that God is pro-choice, and the Christians don't really wanna accept that very much. And I just want to know why.
The God who gives us free will, you know.
The God who gives us free will
but you think
is inherently pro-choice.
I think they think that he's pro-choice because premarital sex. But then imagine if you could be married and get pregnant and be like, we ain't trying to do this right now, and not want to do it. Is it okay then because now it's my wife and my husband? Or is it still murder because
it's pro-life because it's a life and all of that? I don't understand. What I don't understand about pro-lifers is how they behave as though pro-choice automatically means pro-abortion. Right. I personally am aggressively pro-choice across the board, like not even just in regards to pregnancy. Like I just believe that people should have the freedom to choose what they want to do with their lives.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Like freedom is my brand. I'm all about do you, boo. Like, if you want to have a baby, fine. If you don't want to have a baby, fine. If you want to get a tattoo, fine. If you don't want to get a tattoo, fine. If you want to get a vaccine for freaking COVID-19, then by all means, I believe that everybody should be vaccinated, but I firmly believe that everybody has the right to make that choice.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Facts.
for reeling it back in, I just want to know why the pro-lifers are acting like the God that we serve and gave us, that some of us serve, who gave us free will, is pro-life and not pro-choice. What are your thoughts?
This is a question. I still just think it's because they're just, I think people, because, or is it growing up? Because growing up, I never thought that I would ever come and have an abortion. More or less because I never thought I would get pregnant before I needed to or before I was ready to. But I think it's the thing where you hear that you shouldn't, or like if you do, you're a bad person. So people have this notion that doing that is such a horrid, evil, how could you... And even me, sometimes I be thinking, Sakaéla, if my mama decided to do the same thing that I did, would I be here, you know? But I think everything happens for a reason regardless. So even if you think that you should do it or you shouldn't do it, whatever outcome, life is a thing that, like, every single decision you make is going to change your path. So, like, you might have an end goal, but that journey is going to be completely different. You might still get to that same end point, but if I chose to go this way instead of that way, that doesn't mean that my end goal has now moved, you know? So I think people just get scared that, oh, wow, I grew up thinking that if I had an abortion, then I'm going to be shunned, or if I had an abortion, then... But I guess because I've been through it, that is kind of like I have a whole different respect for people who do it, or an understanding of why people do it, and real respect. Because I was never... Sakaéla, you will never. How could you ever think to do that? But you don't know people's life. You don't know what they go through or why they choose to do what it is that they do. So, like, and God gives grace. Give people the grace to just... to make the decisions that they are making, and understand that there was a reason for doing it, and to just show love and not come and berate. Because even when I went over to the place, there were signs outside saying, like, if you for the pro-lifers, because luckily when I went there wasn't anybody out, but there are people out that just want to come and be disrespectful because you're making this decision. And it's like, how can you tell me what to do with my life? Why do you feel so entitled to make your opinion known about what I choose to do with my life? And I mean, that's always the question that we ask. It's just like, why do people think that they can have a say in what somebody chooses to do with their own body? What's inside of me? So, but I don't know why people, or why Christians, I think it has to do with the do not murder. Because again, people, you know, it's a life in it. So, like, but I don't know the scientific... It's
a tough one because I don't necessarily think it's just a Christian thing. I know that's what you want to talk about, but I don't want to just put all the blame on Christians for sure, because it's not Christian. Not all Christians are pro-lifers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think ultimately it just boils down to people being entitled on how a woman chooses to live her life and chooses to what she chooses to do with her body, and that's sad because, like, we don't have any right to tell a woman, you know, this is not a choice that you should make for you. You don't know the circumstances of that situation. You don't know how it came about. You don't know why a person is getting an abortion, what the trauma that could be connected to that, whether it's there or not. Like, you just... there's just so many layers to this, but it all boils down to just minding your business and letting people live their lives. And, like, stop adding trauma to trauma. Like, it's hard enough for a lot of women to have to go to an abortion clinic, let alone going to an abortion clinic to then see a bunch of people rallying and calling her a murderer and all these other things. Like, if the world cares so much about mental health, and the world cares so much about be kind and you know, use your words wisely, like, come on, if that's what you truly are rallying for, then shut up, go home, and do what you need to do for you. And if you're a Christian and you're outside these places, go home, and if you care so much and you are so concerned, pray about it, because that is all that Jesus asked you to do. He didn't ask for any of this. Like,
even on top of what you just said about if you curse so much, the thing with getting abortions, when I think about on the other end of that, there were so many children that don't have families that are in.
Exactly.
So it's like, how about you help the ones that who parents did go through with keeping the child, and now they don't want to have the child anymore because they felt pressured to not have an abortion because people, or whatever the case is, have made them feel like they have to go through with this when they know that they don't want to do this, and now they have this child here that didn't want to be her, didn't ask to be her, and now they're giving them up for adoption. Now they're in foster care, and now they're living a worse life than they may have lived if you had just waited a couple years and brought another life in later, you know? Like, I just...
And that's, so basically, this is a topic I've been wondering about for a couple years, because maybe, I think 2019, Alabama passed a law, like, basically just making abortion illegal, like, for the state, which just really upset me, because, like, you got a bunch of men in place making these laws for how women can live their lives and what they can and can't do with their bodies. And there's a whole, this is why I said Christians, because the Republican Party, they claim to have Christian values, but really they're just a bunch of terrorists. So basically they passed that law, and I was like, yo, you don't know why. There are so many reasons for a woman to get an abortion that go so far beyond, I don't want to have a baby right now, because they're calling them selfish, and pretty much saying, like, the whole premise was that if you can't get an abortion, then basically you'll stop having premarital sex or something, which is dumb. But so, like, I guess it was like sort of to promote abstinence, which again is dumb. So there's just so many reasons a woman might choose to abort, and one, she shouldn't have to disclose that to anybody, and two, she shouldn't, like, it's a tough decision. Like, finding out that you're pregnant before you are even anywhere near ready to even think about being pregnant, that must be a whole experience as it is. And then having to process that, and having to deal with the pressure of the negative stigma that may come with, one, being pregnant, being pregnant outside of marriage, being pregnant at a young age, or whatever circumstances those are, and then also trying to process the whole stigma of whether or not she goes through with this. Like, am I gonna raise this child when I feel like a child myself? Like, I can barely take care of myself. How am I gonna take care of another life? Or am I gonna give up this child and deal with the ramifications of that for the rest of my life? That's already something that you're gonna have to deal with for the rest of your life. And then you got all of these outside factors that know nothing about you, telling you that you're wrong on either side. No matter what you do, you're gonna be dealing with this. And then for the people that line up and rally outside of the abortion clinics, again, some Christians do this, which is ridiculous to me. I know World Harvest Church did that one year, just outside protesting abortion, which is like, wow. Like you said, if you curse so much, because that's what I was talking about. While that whole thing was going on with the Alabama law passing, people were saying, if they curse so much, because they're like, oh, you have so many other options than to abort, like you can give the child up for adoption or whatever. But like,
they make that seem so simple,
right?
It's not simple. It's not at all. Please. And they so like, you could do all of this, but it's like, if you cared so much, because like they're just focused on forcing a woman not to abort, and then after that, like, now that you're stuck with this child, do what you want. like
Exactly.
whatever, go live your life. And then, but on the flip side, they're not helpful to single mothers. They're not.
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
So then so you're forcing women to have children that they don't want, that they can't afford, or whatever, and then you have no sympathy for them when they can't afford these children. You're looking down on women who are on welfare. Well, nobody told you to have all these kids. Well, you made it so I had to.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I didn't want it.
Yeah.
Literally, I don't understand.
Like, make it make sense.
It's an interesting topic.
It's dumb. It's so, and you know, another thing that I was just thinking about is we spend so much time. Well, I say we. I'm not talking about us or any. Hopefully, nobody I know. But like, people spend so much time rallying against abortion and such. But when we go back to like why a person may get an abortion, it could have been because they were raped. Because there's so many different things, but why don't we spend more time and more money on prevention for the sick people that do sick things to women that force them to get an abortion?
To go do this. Yeah.
Like, I don't see you outside rallying against rapists and pedophiles. Like, where's the energy for that? Like, it's
There
silent.
is none.
It's just rolled under the rug, and we just move on. Like, okay, go to therapy, you'll get through it. No, what are we doing here? Why
Women
are we
are just
dealing with
disrespected
that?
in society, period. Because around the same time that this law was passed, there was this boy who he raped this girl. She was drunk, I think, but she was under the influence, or she was unconscious. She was unconscious, and he raped her. And what happened? He raped her and left her there, and then like charges were brought up, and the judge sentenced him to like 6 months because he had a really good future. He was a really good student, and he had a really bright future. Like he was on the swim team or something. Sometimes it's always something about sports or whatever. But he had a really bright future, and the judge didn't want to ruin his life. And I'm like, well, what about her life?
Yeah,
what about her?
Exactly.
Mental
trauma. Like, now she has to deal with this trauma, and knowing that the fact that there's no justice for her.
Exactly.
Because men can just do whatever they want with women's bodies, period. And like, suppose she got pregnant from that, then she can't get an abortion.
And I wonder how long she would, what the sentence or whatever it will be if she did end up getting an abortion. An illegal abortion in Alabama. Probably lock her up for longer than 6 months.
Right.
And then, I don't know, I saw on Twitter the other day, I don't know if you saw me retweet that, I think Sakaéla did. Some man got sentenced to 2 years for over 50 counts of child molestation.
Yes.
Ugh.
2 years.
Like, how you get 2 years? And then I saw somebody retweeted and saying that somebody got 17 years for like selling drugs.
Exactly.
Like, okay. American
I don't even think it was drugs. I think it was something more ridiculous than that.
So why are you not angry about the right things?
This is what exactly.
I just don't.
All the energy goes towards things that you really don't have any place to have an opinion on, because my body is my body, my rights are my rights. Like, so how are you trying to police me now? I just don't understand it. And people just need to mind their business and let people do what they want to do. You don't have to understand why. Like, I think people always want to know, why did you do that? Like, but it's not your business, especially with something like this. This is way too sensitive of a topic for you to now be asking me. You have to, gauge it. Some people might be want to share their, story if maybe you're in the same situation, but people in general will just be too nosy or just wanting to know why. Too entitled. Why did you do this? Why would you do this? How could you do this? Because I did. And that's the end of that. Like, it has nothing else. I don't need to tell you anything else. I made the decision that I made for a reason that is my own. And
the list of reasons one might get an abortion is so vast, and just varying degrees of traumatic. Like, you may not want to talk about that. Like, it's very rarely because I didn't want to have a kid right now. It's very rarely that. It could be a result of rape. Like, I knew if I was raped and I got pregnant, I could tell you right now I ain't having that baby. That's just me. But you've got rape, you've got like literal medical conditions, and just like either terminate or you run the risk of both of you dying. Like, there are just so many different reasons, all of which people may not want to talk about, and they shouldn't have to.
Exactly. It's not by force.
It's not your business.
It's really not.
So what are the recurrent themes of Who Makes the Rules podcast? Mind your business.
Mind your business.
Leave people alone.
It's so
That's
simple.
all you gotta do.
There's a lot of people live.
That's all you have to do, because like the people who are so judgmental in these situations and are just like, why would you do that? Is now the people that actually care. You know, like if I genuinely care about you, then I'm gonna come to you in love. I'm not gonna attack you and tell you that you're doing the wrong thing. Like, if you really cared, you would ask, like, how can I help you? Sometimes you can help by leaving people alone, and if they say, I just want to be left alone right now, then you back off.
Respect people's boundaries, please. They're there for a reason. And just because you don't understand the boundary doesn't mean you can just, leap your way over the boundary and just make your way to, because you think you're doing something good. No. If people say no, if people say this is too much, if people say I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to talk about it with you, I don't care if you're offended or what. Respect people's boundaries. It's so important. Like, you just never know what a person is going through. No is a full sentence.
Period. Full stop.
Full stop.
And
you know what I learned that from Lene. I just want to say I learned that from Lene at the Girl Stand Up podcast.
Hey, Lene girl.
You know what I was thinking? That it's crazy how topics that shouldn't be so debatable are so debatable. Like, things that are deemed controversial. And it's just like, how is this controversial?
I find myself asking that question all the time. Like, why is this a topic for discussion? Like, this is a whole sentence. And this wasn't a question.
It's not a question. Simple. It's literally just mind your business. It has nothing to do with you.
Just that simple. Like,
it's so strange to me. Like with the whole Black Lives Matter thing, the fact that people are disputing that.
Oh, like, disputed racism, period. How can you dispute it? Stupid
it exists.
Like, it's there.
Like, if I say this wall is white.
On the opposite side of Black Lives Matter, you, though, I'm assuming, white person that's telling us that it's not real. Well, how would you know, my friend?
How would you know?
Is this your plight?
Is this your plight?
I don't think it is, because you're not black. But hey, go on.
It just blows my mind.
It doesn't make
how we can really have this conversation, and there will be people that will feel a way about what it is that we're talking about right now. How can you be pro-choice? How can you not? How can you want to
how can
be in charge of somebody else's body?
To determine what someone else does with the body?
Like I just don't understand.
How does that work? How do you wake up
the
and
math
you
is
have the privilege?
But then, you know what gets me? A lot of the pro-lifers are also anti-vaxxers.
That don't make no damn sense. I'm gonna need you to do your research. Or just use your common sense.
But I mean, go off, sis.
Go off.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy, bro.
I don't get it.
Not one bit.
Get it.
Choice.
Literally, pro-choice does not mean pro-abortion.
Literally, it doesn't.
It means I have the right to choose. It literally means I get to decide whether I do or don't. Like, and that's all it means.
Be a problem.
I should not.
That I want to have the choice to do anything. Why should that be a problem?
Why?
Like, how are we debating whether or not I should have a choice?
Like, do you want a piece of cake?
You're not gonna be a part of.
like here's a cake. You can either have a piece or you can't. You have the choice. But pro-life is saying, eat this cake. You have the cake now. You have to eat it.
That's it.
That's flipping ridiculous.
Shove it in my mouth.
And for the Christians that are pro-lifers, like, listen, sometimes minding your business and all of that is just a translation of grace, and being able to say, listen, I don't agree, I don't understand, but I'm going to walk away. I'm going to love you, and if you need me, I am there. It's very simple.
That's it. Mm-hmm.
Like,
even with my situation, I remember you were saying, Chakara, that was like had an issue when I posted the video, was feeling uncomfortable
she said she
about.
wouldn't watch it.
But I have another person in the church that was just like supportive. Sakaéla, I commend you. Like you know, and it's just like how are you both from the same background, but one is just very uncomfortable with, and you can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I can understand people being uncomfortable with someone, especially someone that you know, having gone through something like that. But at least she didn't say nothing to me. But it's just like
you can be uncomfortable, but you don't get to tell anybody how they express what they've been through.
Exactly.
So you can be as uncomfortable as you want to be. But if I want to go onto my platforms and talk about something that happened to me and how it how it affected me positively or negatively, I can do that. And you know why that's great as a Christian to be that transparent is because there are many others who are experiencing the same things by themselves, thinking that they are one of one and are going through absolute hell. And because someone like Sakaéla goes on her YouTube platform and tells her truth, speaks her truth, she now breaks whatever that is that person that was sitting alone going through it, maybe contemplating killing themselves or whatever it may be. She has done that, and that is why God would be pleased with Sakaéla.
Because we spend so much time suffering in silence when we shouldn't have to do that at all.
Yeah. And we need to have the uncomfortable conversations because the whole, this is why this platform is so amazing.
Exactly.
Because if we were all more open, we wouldn't have so many problems. If we could just be more honest about the things we go through and experience, we would be able to reach more people.
Exactly.
And then we could be able to help each other and form a support system. That's how it should be. But instead, we're all just keeping to ourselves, suffering in silence and judging people for going through similar things or adverse things. Like, we're all going through something, but I'm not telling you what I'm going through, and then when I see what you're going through and how you deal with it, I'm being judgmental. That doesn't make any sense.
No, making no damn sense.
Be transparent if you feel comfortable.
We're not saying that you have to get out here and spread your business. Like, you have every right to keep to yourself if that's what you want to do. But if you're keeping to yourself, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that you get to look down on somebody who wants to be open about their truth.
Period. Point blank, period.
Right?
And that goes for everything.
Right.
Because, again, leave people alone.
Period.
Yes. Mind your business.
Mind your business.
People live their lives.
We did a shirt that says that.
Basically. Listen, WMTR merch.
It's
coming. Leave people alone.
Hey, I would wear a shirt like that.
Would you buy that shirt? Let us know.
Let us know.
Right?
Because we could get started on that right now.
It's coming, in fact.
Oh my
It's coming.
Wait on it. Watch the space.
It's really just that simple, bro.
This is a great topic.
And that's the end.
I was nervous. I'm always nervous, if you don't know. I'm always
nervous.
nervous about the WMTR topic because I never knew what we're going to talk about. Just control freak. But yeah.
Thank you guys for being so open and honest and receptive, even though you were nervous, Helena. But this is what it's all about. We like to discuss these sorts of things. It's not something that you really talk about. Like, growing up, I always heard that abortion was wrong. So, like, we grow up with this kind of complex, like, then you get that warped mentality, like, I would never do that. But really, you just never know.
You don't know until you're in it.
You never know what you'll do until you're in these situations.
Yeah.
So grace, guys. Grace. Give people grace, man. Try to give them grace because until you're in it, man, you don't know what you would do until you're placed right dead smack and you have to make that decision. And
it's easy to imagine yourself in a situation from a place of privileged detachment and be like, oh, I would do this, or I would never do that. And then once you get in the situation, you're like, this is a lot more complicated than
literally
it would be.
Look at that. Look at me swallowing my words.
I mean, I know that I wouldn't necessarily, but like this and this and this, and
this
what
is a
about this? And
specific
just
situation.
like,
It's only gonna happen
was
this one time.
Was I a bit judgmental? Was I a little dumb?
Those who feel it know it. I understand that now. Yeah. Should have mind your business from the
So don't be that person anymore.
Don't be that person. Mind your business.
Mind your
people
business. Leave people alone. Wow, thanks so much for listening to another episode of Who Makes the Rules, guys. I think we had a really great discussion, but I mean, we say this every week. Not biased or anything, but you know.
Toot no air horns. Toot. We fly
if you can relate or can't relate, or if you feel any kind of way about this topic, please do let us know in the comments. Share your thoughts. How do you feel about the whole pro-life versus pro-choice movement? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why or why not? Up to you. No pressure. Let us know in the comments. And yeah.
You can follow me at Helena Pipe _ for all of your Just Journey in theater and the like needs.
You can follow me at Sakaéla for all your fashion needs.
And you can follow me at _Chakara for all the things. All of them.
Period.
Because I do everything.
And
Period.
Chakara's hair is bright blue.
It's
teal,
so like,
and it
it's
looks
like
so
exciting. Not exciting. It's just giving positive energy. Like
listen, good vibes. That's my aura.
We love to see it.
Love to see me. I actually really am loving this color. I'm very excited. This is my whole vibe. Basically, my aesthetic is
vibrant.
Ocean.
Mm-hmm.
So vibrant, and we love it.
Just like a summer day, pretty much.
Literally, it's just
In
like
Bermuda.
the sun is just in here, not the sun, but the sky. It's just
a
here,
vibrant
and it's-
thing. Vibrant.
I love that. Thanks again for listening, guys. We will catch you on the next episode. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.